What is up, YouTube? I am back with another reaction video. And I was like, I want to react to some scary shit. I don't know why. So this episode, we are going to react to Mr. Nightmare's 3 True Clown Horror Stories. And hopefully y'all guys don't get scared. Hopefully I don't get scared. Actually, I don't get scared that easily. So let's just get it in the motherfucking video, nigga. Oh, hell no. If I see Pennywise down there. Oh my goodness, yo.
This happened when I was 12 years old, an age old enough to be aware of my surroundings and have a pretty good sense of danger, but also still around that age that attracts a certain selection of creeps. We live in a decently busy neighborhood. However, we're on a dead-end block near a forest preserve, and across the street from us is a sump, and if you were to go through the forest preserve, you would find yourself in a small community park.
Yep.
There was this one Saturday night that a mini carnival was being held in the park, and since I wasn't doing anything with friends, my mom suggested that I go check out the carnival. She isn't the kind of mom who tells her kids not to go out past dark. She always let me do my own thing. So,
White people for you. Man, my mama told me to stay in my... If it's dark, I want you in the house before those street lights come on. That's how I was growing up. You better have your ass in here when those street lights come on. Fucking white people just let their kids do all this other shit, and then they wonder why the kids become missing and shit. Man, I'm gonna say I had a black mom. My mom, I didn't do anything I want. I had to stay my ass in the house, and if I was running in too much, she said, either you're gonna be in or out. I don't know if this contributes to the story. Oh, fuck it.
I did end up going. I crossed through the forest with a flashlight and eventually passed the fence that led to the park and saw lit up carnival rides everywhere. A Ferris wheel, a mini roller coaster, some of those big spinning rides, and of course concession stands and carnival game booths. It was late enough where it wasn't very crowded. There was also a big circus tent with the red and white stripes where I saw some people entering. I poked my head inside, where I saw 4 rows of people in the audience, and on this mini stage were 3 clowns performing tricks. One was on a tricycle, one was juggling.
Let me tell you something. One of my ex-girlfriends, she was terrified of clowns. So when I was in marching band, we did this little Halloween march at the park. So a bunch of people in the costumes came over. And with this clown blah, she was terrified. She was terrified. And I was just being a complete jackass. And I knew she was scared of clowns, and I brought the clown over. Oh, don't judge me. Don't judge me.
And the other was just dancing around. Then the dancing one noticed me poking my head inside the tent, and he skipped over closer to me and started waving his index finger, signaling for me to come closer, or to come onto the stage.
No.
I didn't really know. All I knew is I didn't want to do either, and so I walked away. I ran into a friend at one of the carnival games, and I hung out with him for about half an hour. Pretty soon the carnival was closing down, and everybody was starting to leave. I said goodbye to my friends and made my way towards the woods again. I was near the fence when I heard, "Psst." It came from behind me. It was one of the clowns.
Nope. Nigga, you know that is a bad idea. Nigga, you know that's a bad idea. If you are walking through the woods and a freaking clown, of all people, tell you, "Psst, come here. Come here. Come here." Nigga, you know some fuck shit's about to happen. It's just common sense. And first, if your friend was there, why didn't you ask that nigga for a ride? Or this is just me. It's just me. If I know it's freaking clowns, and especially all the scary shit that's going on right now with the clowns in North Carolina or Indiana, wherever they are, luring kids into the woods, and nigga, you want to go to the woods and that's a clown there? Nigga, you better run. I'm just being me. Man, y'all like it. Y'all like the video if you think I'm right. You should if it's dark as hell outside, street lights is on, and you got run through some woods, hell no. Nah. I'm about to ask my friend, can you drop me at my mama's house?
The clown that was waving me over earlier. He asked me if I wanted to check out the backstage area of the circus tent and some of the cool things the guests cannot see.
Nope.
I said no very quickly and walked into the forest, looking back every few seconds to make sure I wasn't being followed. And I wasn't. The clown just stood there watching me, with the painted-on smile on his face making the situation even more disturbing. When I was out of view, I began to run for a bit before I was confident he wouldn't be able to find me. I was not going to tell my mom what happened because I loved being allowed out whenever I wanted, and I feared that this might ruin that.
Nigga,
it's a half-mile walk through the woods. Safety. I was probably 3/4 of the way there when I heard it again. Psst. This time, I immediately felt sick when I heard it. I turned and saw the same clown walking out from the darkness of the woods into the light of my flashlight. When he was close enough, I threw the flashlight at him and ran for it in the direction of my house. I heard him close behind me until the road was visible. Then I heard him turn around. When I got home, I was breathing like I had just run a marathon, and my mom was of course concerned. I still didn't want to tell her what happened.
Are you serious? Dude, are you... See, this is why you need to supervise your kids. Watch your kids all the time. So, like, when I like watch over my little cousin, I don't let him do whatever he wants. Man, I'm on his ass all the time. Always. See always what he doing. So, oh my gosh, people just kill me.
So I lied and said I jogged the whole way back. After that, it never came up again. Up until the age of 14, I always had a fear of clowns, ever since I was first greeted with one at the age of 5 at a county fair. On a cold Tuesday night in November during break, my parents were on vacation and my sister and brother were out for the night. My friend, who I'll refer to as B, wanted to come over so that we could walk to the fair a couple blocks away. So he did. We walked to the fair, which happened to be in a big empty parking lot. We walked around for a little while and played some of the carnival games. Then we ran into a clown. He didn't speak, he just smiled, bopped around, and made silly hand motions. He resembled more of a mime than a clown. And he seemed to inch his way closer to us every few seconds. Me and B laughed.
No.
B patted him on the shoulder, and we walked away. That was weird, I told B. That was more creepy than weird, said B. We were walking back to my house now on the sidewalks of the quiet Tuesday night neighborhood roads. And that's when we heard something from behind us. It was a pair of footsteps. We turned, but didn't see anyone. This continued for another few minutes. B said he was freaked out and was gonna go home, but I convinced him to stay with me and hang out at my place, honestly because I was scared now. We were sure we were being followed. We made it...
Have you ever been followed home? Oh my goodness. I gotta tell this story real quick. Okay, so my freshman year in high school, I didn't like taking the bus. I for real didn't like taking the bus. Like when I used to the school I used to go to, I lived close to it, so I just usually just walk instead of getting on freaking a bus with some loud ass niggas and some crazy ass bitches in it. So I walked home, and when I said, like, I got up, like, school didn't start till 7:40. I started walking around 6 o'clock in the morning, like 6:30. Man, I said it was dark. It was dark. And then the way I had to go through a car dealership, and then I had to go through a park, and then I had to go through another neighborhood. I should have just took the bus. Well, I didn't want to ride the bus, so when I started walking by myself, some of my friends that went to my school and that lived in my neighborhood, the place I used to live in, I convinced them to start walking home too, and they did. So when we leave school and we get to the park, like the school, and then we had to go through a gate, and then we had to go to a neighborhood. So this dude, when we get to the park, this dude with a red shirt was just sitting in the grass. He didn't. He wasn't laying on a blanket or nothing. He was just laying on the grass. So when we walk past, he gets up and he starts following us. So we was like, it's me, my friend David, my friend Diego, my friend Andrew, and another of my friends. Her name was Giovanna. It was two Mexicans, two black. Actually, it was three Mexicans, two black kids. So when this he had to be like maybe like 5'3". So when we crossed the bridge, it was like some water. We like stopped and looked back, and he was just looking around. So when we started walking, when we get past, like when we walked a few past by the bridge, he was by the bridge now. We was like, we know this nigga ain't following us. So and then we had to go past the car dealership because like the place was by the car dealership. So when we got to the car dealership, he's coming to the car dealership. So we was like, oh, we know this nigga's following us. So we was like, man, should we just whoop this nigga's ass? That's what I wanted to say. But man, I was scared shit last time. This nigga got a gun on the knife. He's gonna try to kidnap us. And then my friend Diego, he's like, man, we should fuck this nigga up. So he won't fuck with us. So when we get there, Giovanna, she's terrified. So when she, as soon as we got to the apartment, she ran. She ran for her life, and she lived on the other side. And she was gone. As soon as we jumped down from the bushes and got to the apartment, she was gone. So as soon as we dropped down, I lived in the front. So I just ran upstairs and I told my mom, I said, man, somebody's following us. We need to call the police. And while the other three downstairs, they were like, they put their stuff down. They about to square up with them. They gonna try to fuck them up. So we go outside and he's hiding behind a bush. He got a hat and he got some glasses on. He's just hiding by the bush. I gotta find the picture somewhere. But yeah, he was following us. We took pictures and it was like around Christmas time because my granddad passed away, and then I remember the Christmas trees on. So when we took a picture of him, and the police, we be there in a little bit. Why take this police? And we don't live in a car because the police is usually at the school because I went to a bad school. So when the police came, it took like half an hour. So we was like, what? Alright. Let's get back to the video.
To the front of my house. I dug through my pocket, took out my keychain, and started looking for the right key out of the 3 in the dark. That's when B nudged me to turn around. There was a clown hiding in the next door neighbor's bushes.
Yeah, he was hiding just like that. I swear he was hiding just like that. But if he was a clown, I'm not scared of clowns. But if you followed us all the way home, I'd be scared shitless.
Staring at us. When he noticed that we had spotted him, he emerged from the bushes and started walking over to us. I began to panic, trying each of the 3 keys until the door finally opened. We entered and slammed the door behind us. I called my parents right away, who told us to arm ourselves and hide upstairs. We went up to my little brother's room and looked out the window. There was the clown standing in our driveway, looking up at the window we were standing at, as if he were waiting for us. I shut the blinds and we both ducked down. Breathing heavily and panicking, within 10 minutes, he was gone.
Oh, hell
I guess he gave up, or at least we think he was gone. For all we knew, he could have been hiding somewhere on the property all night. I'm just happy we made it home in time.
Oh my goodness, that's some scary shit.
If you've seen the news lately, there have been many reports of clowns luring children into the forest. I was one of the first to experience this, and it was utterly terrifying. I want to remain anonymous at the moment, just in case the clown finds out who I am. Anyways, here's what happened. I am 14 years old and live in a small town in South Carolina. The town has a population of around 130 people. Summer was just about over, and I had a summer job working at the local lumber yard. It was a great place to work. I helped customers load lumber into their vehicles, a pretty mindless job. Plus, I was able to stay physically fit because of it. The best part is that my house is exactly 1 mile away. Walking to and from work is a daily occurrence. I spent a long day hauling and moving lumber, and my workday was pretty much complete. It was about 9:30 p.m. when I started to walk home. The moon was just starting to light up the road, and the sun had completely set below the hills. There are no other houses between the lumberyard and my house. Our town is very rural. The road home has hills that peak high enough that you're unable to see what's on the other side until you crest it. The road is skinny with no shoulder, but it was freshly paved. The trees stack one by one behind each other in a row, and vegetation is thick with a few game trails coming out to the road. Crickets and frogs sound like an orchestra. The walk home usually takes about 30 minutes. I've done it so many times that I entertain myself with music. I put in my earbuds, throw on some tunes, and away I went. I was about halfway home when I heard what sounded like a high-pitched cackling laugh.
Hell to the no!
The hell was that? I said to myself out loud. I took out my earbuds and stopped. I thought maybe...
Nigga, why would you stop? Nigga, go!
Maybe it was part of the music, but something about it didn't fit into the song. I stood there motionless, looking to hear the same sound again. However, the frogs croaking were so loud that not even a scream could be heard. I thought nothing of it and walked home. The next day, I started my shift at 2 p.m. I started my walk to work around 1:30. Nothing was out of the ordinary. It was a beautiful day. I usually look down at my feet and kick any rocks that I see. Having them skip across the fresh pavement was oddly satisfying. I kicked a rock and it skipped across the pavement and landed next to something strange laying in the dirt on the side of the road. It looked to be a bright red ball. I picked it up, I gave it a little pressure, and it squeaked. Immediately, I knew what it was. This is a clown nose, I said to myself. What the hell is this doing out here? I kept it and carried it to work to show the other staff members. I even put it on and gave it some honks. It got a few laughs. The day went on as usual, and around 9:30 p.m. I clocked out and began my long walk home. I forgot my earbuds at home, so I was unable to listen to my usual music. While on my way home, I was able to make out a faint image of a figure about 150 yards away of what looks like a deer standing in the middle of the road. It was hard to make out as the fog hovered over the ground and the moonlight backlit the animal. As I got within 100 yards, it must have gotten spooked. I could see a rough outline scamper back into the forest. Little did I know this was not a deer, but something more sadistic. I passed the spot in which the deer had taken off back into the woods. As I walked by, I heard footsteps about 20 yards behind me. I thought this was strange, as I have never seen a deer come back onto the road once it was scared off. Before I could look back, I heard, "Hey there." I turned my head to see a clown standing in the middle of the road with his hands behind his back.
Fuck that.
He wore baggy pants and a baggy shirt that was obviously meant to be a clown costume, but it was very dirty. So dirty that the colors faded into stains. His makeup ran down his face and his eyes were black. He tilted his head to the side and said, "You have something of mine. I need it back." He gave a small little laugh after he spoke. I don't have anything of yours," I said as I started to walk backwards. My house was still a quarter mile away. This is when the situation went from odd to terrifying. He said, "Well then, if you don't have my nose, I'm gonna need yours." He pulled something out from behind his back, and I'm not gonna lie, it looked like a machete. I turn around, and with all my might, I take off running down the middle of the road. I could hear his bare feet running. I didn't look back as it could slow me down. The blades of what I assumed were two machetes dragged on the asphalt. I was in great shape, but I could still hear his footsteps getting louder, signaling he was getting closer to me. He would even let out a little giggle that would feed my adrenaline even more. My lungs started to burn. I began to crest the hill. At this moment, I could hear him almost right behind me, just about touching me. And then out of nowhere, a truck crests the hill with its headlights shining on me. I waved my arms in sheer panic. He stopped. I quickly looked behind me to see nothing. No clown. I told the man in the truck what happened, and he called the police. I will never make that walk again. I have no idea how the clown got to that location and why he waited for me. I have never seen any vehicles parked there, nor are there any other houses besides mine for miles. This was my worst nightmare come true. Now I have found out that this is happening to more people, clowns hiding in the woods and stalking people. Is this a cult, a group of scary clowns with a goal to terrify people? I have no idea, but I do know that I'll never be able to walk in the dark or see clowns the same way again.
Oh my goodness, guys, that was really terrifying. Like I said, that shit was terrifying. But I know this was a long video. I hope y'all guys liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell me, have y'all ever witnessed scary clowns before? It's your boy Juicebox. I'll talk to y'all guys later.